We all dread it, right? The thought of a child in real distress. Our minds immediately jump to the worst possible scenario. But what if I told you that the most critical secret to saving them is something that most of us, with the very best intentions, get completely backwards?
Okay, so let's just imagine it. A child goes into cardiac arrest. What's your first move? What does your gut tell you to do? For most of us, it's probably start chest compressions or get the defibrillator. And look, that makes sense, but for a kid, that's not the right answer. And the real answer, well, it just might surprise you.
And this right here is the hidden truth. Our intuition, it's all geared for adults. With an adult, yeah, cardiac arrest is usually a heart problem, an electrical issue, a heart attack, you name it. But for kids, it's a whole different story. It's almost always a breathing problem first. The heart stopping, that's the end of the line, not the start. It's the very last domino to fall.
And that one single fact, that fundamental difference between kids and adults, it changes absolutely everything about how we respond to the emergency. So, let's break down exactly why.
To really get this, we've got to get to the heart of the matter. Literally. The entire reason for this difference comes down to the simple mechanics of how a child's heart is built and how it works compared to ours. It all boils down to this one concept called cardiac output. Now, it sounds technical, but it's super simple. It's just the total amount of blood the heart pumps out every single minute. That's it. You can think of it like the body's fuel pump, sending energy to every single part of the system. And that output is decided by just two things. You take how fast the heart is beating, that's the heart rate, and you multiply it by how much blood it pushes out with each beat. That's called the stroke volume. So speed times power equals your total output. It's the simple math that keeps us all going.
And here it is. This is the critical difference. An adult's heart is like a big, powerful car engine. If it needs more output, it can just pump harder. It increases that stroke volume. But a kid's heart, it's more like a small, high-revving engine. It can't really pump any harder. Its stroke volume is pretty much fixed. So what's the only trick it has up its sleeve? It has to pump faster. It has to rely on heart rate. For a kid, that rate isn't just important, it is everything.
So if a child's heart rate is the whole ball game, we've got to know how to read the signals when things are going wrong. It all comes down to understanding the heart's rhythm. So let's break down what first responders look for without all the confusing medical jargon. You can really simplify a child's heart rhythms into three basic categories. You've got too fast, which is usually just the body reacting to some kind of stress, like a fever. Then there's chaos, which is when the heart's electrical system just goes haywire, and that's the AED's job to fix. But the one we really need to focus on is too slow. In a child, a slow heart rate is the ultimate warning siren. It's a sign that the entire system is about to fail.
And that brings us to the single most important number an EMT is looking for: 60. If a child's heart rate drops below 60 beats per minute and they're showing signs of poor circulation, that's the trigger. It is time to act immediately.
This dangerously slow heart rate has a name. It's called bradycardia. And believe me, it is not just another symptom. It is the heart's final cry for help before a full-blown cardiac arrest.
So what causes this? Why would that little engine suddenly start slowing down so dangerously? In the vast majority of cases, the cause is hypoxia, and all that means is a lack of oxygen. The engine isn't getting enough air, so it's starting to shut down. See? It always comes back to the same thing. It's a breathing problem first. Okay, so we understand the problem. A dangerously slow heart rate caused by a lack of oxygen. And once you really get that, the life-saving action plan becomes incredibly clear and logical. Let's walk through the exact steps.
Now, this brings up a really good question. When we look at that chart from before, how in the world does a first responder know if a heart's rhythm is chaos? I mean, do they have to be a cardiologist to figure that out on the fly?
And the simple answer is they don't have to. The automated external defibrillator, the AED, that machine does all the heavy lifting. It's smart enough to analyze the heart's rhythm all on its own, and it will only advise a shock if it detects one of those chaotic rhythms. The EMT's job isn't to guess, it's to trust the machine and follow its lead.
This logic leads us to 4 critical steps, and believe me, the order is everything. Number 1, open the airway. Number 2, provide oxygen. If the heart is still slow after that and the child isn't getting better, then you go to number 3, start CPR. And finally, number 4, apply the AED as soon as it arrives. Do you notice a pattern here? The first 2 steps, the absolute top priorities, are all about fixing the breathing problem.
And just to be crystal clear on that third step, CPR isn't an automatic thing. You don't start it just because the heart rate is low. You start CPR only if that heart rate is below 60 and there are signs of poor perfusion, like bad skin color or weak pulses, even after you've already given them oxygen. You have to give the lungs a chance to fix the problem first.
You know, everything we've talked about, every single point, it all builds to one simple critical principle. So let's put it all together and really see why oxygen always comes first. This right here, this is the entire philosophy for pediatric emergencies. First, you recognize there's a problem, then you oxygenate, then you start CPR, then you use the AED, and then you transport. Oxygen is right there at the top of the list, the very first action you take after realizing something is wrong.
So let's put this principle into action. Imagine a 6-month-old baby. They're unresponsive, and you check their pulse, it's 50. That's below our magic number of 60. What is the very first thing you do? It's not CPR, it's not the AED. Your first move is to provide oxygen and help them breathe. Why? Because you absolutely must fix the breathing problem to have any chance at all of fixing the heart problem. So the single biggest takeaway here is this. For children, an emergency isn't just about the heart. It's fundamentally about protecting their ability to breathe. Everything comes back to the airway. So let me leave you with this question. Knowing that it's all about breathing first, how does that change the way you view child safety in your own life?